final.
Oh no, he's saying because Liverpool is not in.
We're not interested in that.
Okay.
To tell him we were interested in the ultimate. Yes, and that's what we got.
Hey, Joyful, you do alright. The unbeatable station. You're really making my weekend afternoon enjoyable with all your lovable selections from Sarah, Amalfu, and Winneba. Sarah, good afternoon to you. 0244340437 to be part of our show. We're going all the way till 6 p.m. But Sadiq, quickly, what does this mean for the industry? This Shatawale Beyonce thing, already over 2 million views in less than 48 hours. That's crazy. What does it mean for the industry, Sadiq?
Well, the spotlight is good, and I mentioned last year that it opens the doors for a number of these collaborations to happen. Most important, the spotlight on Ghana is a very good opportunity for us to harness. Already, Shatawale is it's beginning to reflect in Shatta's digital activity. When you check Spotify, for instance, is leading, for instance, in terms of monthly listenership, which is averaging about 80k plus, So, I mean, it will bring a very good spotlight on Ghanaian music to such an extent that it would help people that were not introduced to Ghanaian music to discover, the sort of talent that, it's here. It's left for us to really take advantage of this newfound spotlight or highlight on us to harness and ensure that we get the desired streams for our Ghanaian talent.
Pretty interesting. Many are marveled by Shatta's discipline and the fact that he didn't utter a word about this. Should it surprise anyone?
No, it shouldn't, because it was controlled. Shatta was controlled. It wasn't his production to start off with, for him to go about talking about it the way he wanted to. So there was an NDA, and you know that.
Yeah.
George,
I know, yeah, definitely.
Of course there would be an NDA,
of course,
and he had to go by that NDA. But all the same, we need to give a lot of plaudits to Shatawale.
Yeah.
Because he's gotten us there. We're being talked about all over the place, And I think that's what we should be looking at, so that a lot more of our artists can get in there for us to also talk more about them. And I don't have anything but a lot of praise for Shatawale. We diss him when he does things wrong. We praise him
when he gets it right.
Sadiq, isn't that the case?
Yes.
And that's what we should be doing about this. I don't think we should be going any other way. I've heard so much being discussed on radio, where the scene shot here, who did what. The fact of the matter is, there's a video out already.
I think that what people wanted to do was to be able to highlight how this particular collaboration has impacted other sectors of the arts. How it's impacted the dance space, how it impacted
because they've introduced some dancers from Ghana.
Yes, let's
find out who those people are.
That's the DWP Academy, the Dance Workforce Academy.
Let's talk more about them, Sadiq. As far as I'm concerned, so other people, even in this country, can use them. Has anybody used them in this country?
Yeah. DWP has become almost like the foremost contemporary dance group currently.
Nice one. I didn't know that.
Videos. Yes, they're very good. It's led by a young man, Dance Guy Lloyd, his manager Quabbles. We've actually even used them for the free musical.
Good.
Quabbles, he's their manager, and they've been doing well.
This
also brings to mind the power of
George. Have you guys used
a number of productions?
So
I'm glad.
They're very good. What this brings also to mind is the power of collaborations, harnessing individuals that are here in the diaspora. And when you look at the beginnings of this particular collaboration, from where it came from, the individuals involved, coming down to the actual work, Shatta's team, and all of those things. It brings to mind the point that I've always made, that for us to advance the cause of our industry, there has to be that powerful collaborations between you. Look, there's a number of Ghanaians that work in the industry that are in the diaspora who, on a very good link up, for instance, will bring a lot of value to this. There's one person, for instance, who's not been mentioned. In fact, for him, he would like to stay in the background, in terms of
publicity,
which is Leslie Quaye Fantasy Dome.
And Leslie, who was involved with the Deborah Cox
very active
with the Deborah Cox
yes
event.
Fantasy Dome.
Okay.
You know, very active role in it. Coming down to Bulldog, coming down to
the late Willie Roy.
Willie Roy.
Well, you heard that story. There was some story that came up that
No.
you didn't hear that story.
No, I didn't see, but
there was a story. There was a story that came out some time
between
back.
Leslie, Bulldog, Chris Coney, Wale himself,
Great.
to some extent his dad. I mean, coming down to the various other individuals that were involved in creating that narrative that managed to finally convince the people that look, he's the guy. He's the guy to and they reached out to a number of other industry people as well that put in a word and ensured that he was able to get it. He put in a very, very good story for him. And thankfully, when he did, delivered massively. He was charged.
Talking about massive delivery, we've got one of the people that worked on it on the phone lines right now, and that is Sharifa Isaka, who was a producer on this one. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Sharifa. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Very, very, very well. And hey, congratulations. How does it feel?
Thank you. It feels great. I'm a little overwhelmed by all the, the congrats and messages and whatnot, but it feels amazing, honestly.
All right, so let me find out quickly. Exactly what did you produce? Did you produce this music video or did you produce the entire movie Black is King?
So I produced this music video, but we shot a lot of content for it. So some of the things that we actually shot for the video were used in other parts of the film. So I guess both.
That's interesting. So how did you get to work on this project? How did the connect come to you?
So I have been working in production here and film here in Ghana for a number of years now. And I largely work with clients from outside who come to shoot projects here. And one of those clients was Apple a few years back. And they had hired Ghanaian-American photographer Joshua Kissy to come and direct. And that was actually his first director credit, to direct a short film here in Ghana featuring the artist Prince Jasmine. And so we had worked together on that, and we really got on well, personally and professionally. And so when Beyonce's camp actually tapped him to work on, Black is King and to work on the video for Already, he reached out to me. And yeah, that was how it happened.
Interesting. And where were the challenges? Let's look at it from that angle. I mean, for you, working with, this is Beyonce. What were the challenges? Did you...
there's obviously the pressure of, working for Beyonce, that that once you're done, whatever you put out there is going to be seen by the world, right? So there was that. But I think, honestly, I didn't find much challenge in the actual, day-to-day production work because I was working with a team of people here in Ghana that I worked with before. So it was fairly seamless on that end.
Sounds interesting. You want to tell us how much you got paid?
I don't think I'm allowed. I signed an NDA, don't forget that.
But the NDA doesn't include the money.
That one, I don't know. I guess if you've ever gotten, the honor of working with Beyonce, you don't ever want to mess that up. Let me just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah,
don't get me in trouble. Don't get me in trouble.
It appears there was a lot of keeping our mouth shut on this particular project. We didn't see it come.
She's a notoriously private person, and I think it's because she just wants to put the work out and let everyone enjoy without the whole build-up,
Sounds interesting because we find it strange that the Charles Niama Mensah, aka Shatawale we know, has been so silent. How long ago did you shoot this?
So we've been working on the film has been in production for a full year, and our contribution to it was, I think, about 10 months ago. So a while back.
10 months? That's almost a year.
Yeah.
And Shatawale has been quiet for a year.
Yeah, why are you so surprised?
I want to know what was in that NDA. What did it say?
I swear, I honestly don't think I think it's just people don't want to, disappoint Beyonce. It's Beyonce, She's so lovely.
So where were the locations, and where in Ghana did you film?
So we actually shot in and around Accra. We couldn't venture out further, unfortunately, due to the timeline. I would have loved to, show different locations, because I think in terms of the coverage that comes out of Ghana that's seen outside, it's often just the same places. So when we actually shot in Accra, even though we weren't able to, move outside, we made sure that we chose different places. Like we definitely shot in Nima. That one we had to do. Shatta was involved. it was a must.
Mm.
But yeah, we even went to Kokrobite. You know, we were around. So
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Tell me, where did you train as a film producer, director?
So the funny thing is, initially I didn't grow up in Ghana. I'm Ghanaian, but I grew up between Canada and Saudi Arabia. But I moved back to Ghana for the first time, at least, in 2012. And I actually learned so much just on the ground here, doing things, getting involved in things. But I did end up going to study in graduate school in media studies in New York. But the funny thing is, I realized that, I mean, okay, there were certain things that obviously I learned in school, but a lot of the technical things I had taught myself using Google or whatever were correct. Like, I didn't need to go to school and pay thousands of dollars to learn them. So now when people ask me, oh, you know, I'm like, honestly, you might not need to go and study this. Like, you might actually just be able to do it on your own and save yourself some money.
Pretty interesting. I've been looking at the video. I mean, I've watched it like, 200 times already.
Mm-hmm.
What was the sequence? What were some of the things you had to put together? Was the script just handed over to you, or did you have to script it?
I mean,
take us through the work.
Yeah, so it was a big team, right? So we all had specific roles that we had to play. And they would communicate to us what sorts of things they wanted us to capture. And it was every single day we were sending them, you know, uploads of the footage for them to review and revert back to us with their comments. I mean, and by them, I'm referring to Parkwood, her production company. And yeah, it was a lot of communication back and forth. They gave us a lot of latitude, though, as far as like what we thought, you know, we wanted to show to represent Ghana, because that was what it was about, right? You know, the song features Shatawale. He's the dancehall king. He's, you know, Ghana's pride and joy right now, especially. And we wanted to show the world not only his musical talent, but like the place that he's from, the place that we're from. So yeah, having the opportunity to do that is just, I feel so honored.
What was your crew size like? How many people worked on this in total?
As far as the Ghanaian team, it was actually quite small. As far as, for the Already video, you mean, right?
Already video, yeah.
Yeah. Already video was a very, very small team. It was myself as the producer, Joshua Kissy as the director, and then the stylist is Nana Kwesi Wiase, and cinematographer is David Buana. And yeah, we've worked together before, so we kept it small, the crew, just so we can make sure that we get everything done in the way that we needed to do so. But, I also forgot to mention, and I certainly cannot forget this, the talent.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't just us, you know, shooting. Like, we had the dancers, and everybody's seen them, painted blue, dancing on the street in Nima, right? You said
we've seen them, yeah.
Yeah, so that's Dance God.
I saw somebody with boots.
So we had a lot of extras as well. So that was just one malam in near somewhere in Jamestown, and he was just wearing the most beautiful blue attire, and we were like, we have to capture you. And the thing about this project because I worked on a few different productions, but the thing about this project that I really loved was we had budget to pay extras well.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something I was like, if I'm doing something here in this Ghana for Beyonce, there's no way I'm not making sure that everybody gets their money, because, like, the client.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was something that made me really happy.
Those scenes with the green avatar-like people, what was the idea?
So for me, with production work, I'm not really, you know, in the creative team. They tell me what they want, and I make it happen.
And then you make it happen.
So for that one, I don't actually know. I'll find out and I'll let you know.
Please do, because I'm trying to understand. You know, they got some people painted in green and all that, and there were parts where they were in the trees and all those things. You know, it's beautiful, but we just want to know the creativity, the idea behind it. Right, yeah. But hey, regardless, congratulations. I mean, you guys have done great. And the scene with the cast, did you shoot those in Ghana as well?
No, so some of the scenes, as you could probably tell, having watched the video, there's one scene where there's like a whole, you know, city backdrop. That's not Ghana, obviously. But yeah, some scenes were not shot in Ghana, so they interspersed the scenes. And actually, they did that throughout the film. I think I mentioned that, you know, some of the footage that we shot here in Ghana actually was used in other parts of the film. So.
Interesting, because there have been debates going on that Beyonce was not in Ghana for this shoot. Was Beyonce here or not?
Sorry, what was that?
People are saying they've been talking on social media that Beyonce never showed up in Ghana to shoot this video.
No, Shatta Wale already said this. He already went to see her. So they did their part when he went to see her.
Oh, okay. So she wasn't here.
No. So he went to see her. They shot their part because, you know, her schedule was mad. But she really wants to come. You know, her creative director is actually Ghanaian American.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
while I have you, this is the perfect time because I really want to hail the fact that there were so many Ghanaians involved in this, beyond just, the ones who worked on the Already video. The whole team of the Black is King project, I think the number is I think I'll just read you the names. Obviously, Shatawale, musical artist, featured in Already song and video. But Kwesi Forjor, that's his name, her creative director. He's also the co-director of Black is King.
Interesting.
So he had a big hand in, selecting the talent and whatnot. And I think, obviously he had to, represent everyone, but I'm sure he had a soft spot in his heart for how Ghana would be represented in the film, and he did well. He really did well. In addition to him, there were 3 other Ghanaian directors. Blitz Bazawule, everybody knows him from his work on Burial of Kojo. Emmanuel Ajay, who's done work with Madonna. Joshua Kissy, I mentioned. And then, again, the core team here who worked on it, Nana Kwesi, David, and myself. And then, yes, everybody else, the talent, Dance with a Purpose. Yeah, it was so affirming to see Ghana be celebrated in such a big way, with Shatta obviously on the track, but the country, really being represented in the video and also, in the production of the thing. So it's been really cool.
That sounds very, very cool. Very, very, very cool. You guys have done great. Congratulations. You put Ghana on the map. And you all sound very, very, very talented. And we've been speaking about getting our films out there to the world. This collabo, this is a door that has just been opened. And I think we need to find a way to milk it to the best of our abilities. What do you say to that?
I 100% agree. I think the world is really... we've known it. We've known this for a long time, that Ghana is something special, but the world is now starting to know. So I think there'll be many more opportunities coming out of this, but we just have to be ready for them,
So for the good news is that I just started acting again. We're going to talk, all right? And this conversation is going to continue on Drive Time on Monday with Lexus Bill, all right? So keep that phone on, and then we'll talk, all right? Congratulations again. Do take care, all right? That is great. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. And that was Sharifa Isaka, producer of that beautiful, 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 beautiful video, Shatawale and Beyonce Already.
Only the king, you know it. King already, you know.
The entire video for Already.
Okay. I asked, that was actually one of the first questions I asked, and she said it's an entire project. They were shooting the bigger picture, which is what you call it, Black is King, and a number of scenes from Black is King were used to produce Already.
Okay.
And those scenes concerning Already that were shot here, she produced.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that people out there do not engage in this banter that has been going on. We need clarity to that. She produced content that was shot in Ghana.
Yes.
For the video.
Ghana part of it.
Exactly. Exactly.
And usually for major productions like these, there are units.
Of course.
There are units. So maybe
anybody that knows about production can understand these things. But there are people out there who don't. And there's been arguments left right. Some have even mentioned Photoshop. All that has been going on.
The video was shot in this particular video of Amaware was shot in 2 parts. Some were shot here and some were shot there.
In the States. Clarity.
She clarified that.
Clarity. Thank you for that. But George, you know what? My main issue is this lady you just spoken with. I have to be very honest. I haven't heard of her in this country prior to this.
It's a big surprise, isn't it?
I
haven't either.
I'm not talking to you.
Uncle Ken, sorry to interrupt again. We've got Shatawale on the line. Let's go to the phone line. Hello? Oh, not yet. Uncle Ken, you can go ahead.
No,
come to the line.
And I'm glad you have also...
Yeah, I haven't heard of her.
I haven't heard of her prior to this.
Yeah.
And there are people like this in this country
Yes.
doing
Amazing
work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we do not know about
Yeah.
them. Why?
No, but
I find it amazing.
some of them are pretty much private.
And of course, that's the answer.
Yeah.
Because they're private, they're doing work for international bodies on the quiet, and they're not in the news.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here and we're saying our industry is this and that. Oh,
No, but,
goodness me.
That's what I'm
Goodness
saying.
me.
There's a whole lot of.
Gentlemen, let me also welcome Quaye Rasta. We've also been joined in the studios by the man from the mountaintop, Quaye Ojibabeko, aka Quaye Rasta. Quaye, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Were you also a part of the recording? Were you a part of the shoot?
I gave moral support.
from the mountain.
From the mountains. Were there any scenes shot in the mountains?
No.
And so where was the moral
support was coming from there.
Okay.
From the farm.
Okay.
Yeah, and I saw Sharifa's tweet earlier. She said the fact that I got to work on a project for Beyonce is cool. The fact that this project was Black as King is even cooler. But the coolest part of all was that I got to do both of those things right here in Ghana. Ghana in everything that I do.
Exactly.
And now it's in a film by Beyonce.
Positivity.
Yeah, that's it.
And when when you check her out, you see some of the other very good work she's done for Apple and other platforms.
Going to check her out.
Yeah. She's on. I think she's on Instagram. I checked her out as well. You know, but she's been around and she's part
been low key.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's
doing what she does best.
Yeah.
On the quiet.
Yes.
Kudos.
A lot of
to
people
her.
like that.
Yes,
kudos.
there are a lot of people like that, you know.
Well.
And I think it's wonderful. And let us herald the positive aspects of what Shatta has been able to achieve. Because all the rest of the arguments, where was this shot? How many minutes was Shatta in the video? You know,
I don't want to even focus on those things.
When you focus on those, you know, side tracks, and I mean, it doesn't help. I mean, he's done well.
I think it's the impact it brought to all these various parts of the value chain that we need to focus on. For instance, like giving the likes of Sharifa the opportunity.
Yes.
I mean, to work on.
And you know something she said that I was very happy about?
Yeah.
The point George, did you hear the point she made about a production where she had enough funds to cater for extras?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful because extras play an important part in movie production. They add to the aesthetics, you know, and everything. And the point she made about having enough funds to pay for them, I was pleased about.
And by that, she actually highlighted, I mean, how funding is a very important part of the filming process.
Yes.
You know.
George, you know, when we started the show today, and I came here, I had wanted you to introduce me before the others
got in.
But like you always do, you ignored me until they got here. Because I had wanted to hit you up on an issue that happened this week.
Okay.
I am happy you were dealt with very well on that issue.
Which issue was
I am not going to even...
Dealt with by who?
Yeah, dealt with by the vast array of listeners of Joy FM.
Which issue was this?
And this issue was to do with the Michael Jackson, Bob Marley thing that you raised. I am happy you were dealt with.
The Michael Jackson shows were busy, so they couldn't call him.
Oh, they didn't know what to be.
The show was rigged. The show was rigged. Like the Joe and Ishra Ado, they lined up Bob Marley. They lined up. How do you compare somebody who left behind one guitar?
I'm saying you were dealt with
over 300 million. Let's not even go into it.
And you know, I have said so that this is not the show for that. You have been dealt with already. Let's end it there.
How do you even compare Bob Marley to Michael Jackson?
If you don't want to do it, why did you
I just wanted to remind him that you have been dealt with.
You want to share, but you don't want us. You don't want him to also.
I don't want to hear Rasta's opinion because we know what you say already. They all don't know Michael Jackson. Are you let's leave it for another day? Now, so last week our president eased restrictions again on COVID-19, and our churches tomorrow, our cry is going to be noisy again. In fact, Ghana is going to be noisy again tomorrow. Not noisy in a bad way, noisy in worshiping God. That's fine. But a lot of us in the event planning business also know that the church is an event. I mean, all the elements of an event is right there in the church. Stage, lights, sound, performance. The pastors, they're all performers. They are all fine actors. And that's not an insult. That is a fact. Being an actor doesn't make you a bad person or a liar or a cheat. You understand me? So if the church that has every element of an event, stage, light, sound, screen, an audience, chairs, sitting capacity, everything, security, everything, you've opened restrictions to that. Why can't eventing also start? The minister had an interaction with George Quaye on PM Express. That is the Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture. Is it Tourism, Culture and Arts or Arts and Culture? Which one is it?
The ministry.
It is the ministry. Yeah. And I mean, let's take a listen to what the minister said in relation to this and other matters, and then we'll return to the studio to have a chat. And don't forget, later on, we're still waiting for another small baby to join us in the studio, and then we're going to have that conversation with Noella Wiala, the Lioness of Africa, as well. Take a listen to the minister, Honorable Barbara Otinjisi.
50 million is for the creative arts sector, and the creative arts sector has various domains. We have the music, we have film, we have visual arts. So all of this come together, and they are all expected to benefit. I've had an initial engagement with them as to how the proposal we should put forward to finance in respect of how the funding should be allocated, and even the process for assessing the funds. Because we also recognize that most of our operators in this industry are informal operators, and some of them may not have kept their books, records of accounts and all that. So if we make those a requirement, it may be difficult for some of them to access the funding. So do we make it a requirement going forward? Give them some support for now. Get them to formalize, maybe register the business, obtain a TIN number, and get some support. And then going forward, we ensure that they put in place the needed structures in order to build the business. So we are looking at the peculiarities of our sector and going to make a proposal to finance as to how this funding should be assessed by the practitioners.
Would these concerns and push to address these issues delay the disbursement of this money as well?
I don't think so. That is why we have been proactive and have already started the engagement. Hopefully by early next week I'm going to get their proposal, and then we are going to sit with finance and see how best it can be structured, because we also recognize that this is an addition to the NBSSI facility. So it may be disbursed through the NBSSI. NBSSI already has a structure in place, but because this allocation is specifically to cater for the creative arts industry, we want to make a case for them, knowing their peculiar circumstances. So we'll engage finance and we'll see how best to support them.
Possibly August or September they will get something?
Definitely, definitely, because finance is also interested in making the resources available to the enterprises as soon as possible, so that the economy can pick up.
Apart from this financial support, again, I see some of our local artists collaborating with giant international acts and all the rest. And apart from this stimulus package that you're also putting together for the creative industry, what else are you doing for them on the back of COVID, in the midst of COVID as well, to ensure that they also pick up? Looking at the fact that if you have maybe somebody collaborating with a top star in US, what brings to the country? What else are you? Because they feel that they are neglected. You come to them only when you need them for just to perform open acts and maybe campaign songs, and then you throw them back into the banner.
You know, I have always said that it comes down to the legal and institutional framework. Because that is missing, it makes it difficult to coordinate and get the necessary support for the sector. They make a lot of noise that everything is tourism.
They have been neglected.
But that is because the ministry initially started as Ministry of Tourism, and then the creative arts was added onto it. So the tourism had a dedicated agency, which is the Ghana Tourism Authority, working to address all the issues in that sector. Now we have the creative arts sector coming on as well. So we need that institution to support the sector. That is why we are working on the creative arts agency. We have completed the bill and it's gone to cabinet. We are hopeful that it will get to parliament very soon and be passed before the end of our term, so that we can have the institutional and legal backbone to support the industry to address all the gamut of issues. And there are copyright issues. We indicated that we will try and set up a copyright court, and I'm happy to say that that discussion has been finalized with the Chief Justice, and very soon we will see that coming on stream. And we are looking at how we can get dedicated funding to support them in their activities, because it's difficult for them to access funding in the commercial courts. So in the new the law that is going to be passed, there is provision for a creative arts fund which will directly support them. Yesterday during our engagement, somebody even raised the fact that we should have a creative arts bank. And I said, well, we are proposing a fund for now. Maybe in the future it may become a bank. But I also know that the Association of Ghana Industries has been working on setting up a bank to support local industries. So maybe we have to engage with them and see how we can facilitate to ensure that that dedicated bank for local industries comes on stream, and then our creative arts practitioners can also benefit from that.
As we wrap up on this, your final thoughts, that do you see the sector picking up post-COVID-19? Deep down, you think that the bruises will be there to deal with it?
It will pick up. It may be a little slow, but it will pick up, because as I indicated, we are social animals and we need to socialize, we need to engage. So definitely, when we look at other countries, what is going on, even in the face of the COVID, people, like in the US, people are traveling across states and all that, because they can't remain in one place forever. So definitely it will pick up, but may take a little time. But we are hopeful that we can map out a strategy for our region to open up, and then later on, as the world opens up, we can expect our international tourists. But at least for this year, we are working towards a strategy for December in Ghana, how we can initiate some activities for December, if by that time things have eased up to the extent that we can have some interesting activities. Exactly. So we have December in Ghana.
It is Showbiz A to Z.
And that is Honorable Barbara Otunjisi. Speaking on a number of issues pertinent to the creative arts. Sadiq, you heard her?
I did. For me, I think that, it's unfortunate she referred to the subjective points that the industry raises regularly for the past 4 years as noise. We aren't just making noise.
Oh, Sadiq.
George.
Sadiq, but you know that's just a figure of speech. It's not. I don't think she used it in a derogatory manner. I don't think that's what she meant.
This is not the first time that.
But do you expect Sadiq to say otherwise?
So, George, this is not the first time that people related to the sector working for the government have referred to some of the points that have been made by industry as noise. This is not the first time. In different interactions. What do you call what the subjective analysis impact, for instance, gave to the state? It is certainly not noise. The impact took a step further and got KPMG to do an impact assessment analysis for the state, for which was going to guide, policymakers in terms of the decision they took. But regardless, for 4 years, if consistently you have to be reminded to deliver on your promises to the space consistently, every now and then you sort of give some bit of an action as if you're going to do anything, and then you come back. What would you expect the people to do? From year one, 18 promises that was made to the sector, not a single one has yet been achieved. 18. What would you want the sector to do? And yes, this comes back to what the people in the sector have made the point that creative arts has always been regarded as
17.
It's the court. Well, it's not been achieved yet. Put that on the side. They talk about it. Okay. So the point is that this comes back to the point that people in the space have always made about the fact that creative arts or creative economy is always like, it's not been prioritized. And I've seen calls to sort of create a whole creative and digital economy ministry, for instance, because of the connections of it, to cater for such a vast space and constituency. It's not our fault that we'll consistently call on the states to deliver on their promises. It's not. Almost every year, started with what's his name, Katrina Feku. She was changed. This one came. She's not obviously been engaging that much. Recently, we are saying that there's some bit of a communications activity coming from her end. And in regard some of these analysis and things that the state ordinarily should have been doing, that we are doing for you as noise, it's not. It's not. Look, they need to come to terms, and I'm sure from the meeting they had 2 days ago, the people that they met.
Oh, you at that meeting?
No, I wasn't. I was not actually even invited. Not that I'm important anyway. But the point is that I'm sure the feedback they got was that there's a certain level of disquiet in the industry in terms of the fact that they've not been able to do much for the industry. Not to say even much. What really has this particular government done to enable the space? Every now and then we keep hearing, just like she mentioned, about this 50 million and this 9 million that they took from the World Bank, tourism development, whatever. But consistently, when we hear some of these announcements, you find out eventually that it doesn't come in and impact the industry. Checking with industrial groups like the AAG, GEBA, or even MPAG, to some extent FIPAG, for instance, to try to identify, maybe as an organization, they are aware that their members or any of them are able to assess this. They tell you that no.
Let me bring Kwame into the conversation. Kwame, listening to what Sadiq is saying and the fact that he alludes that none of these promises have been met. Do you feel that this creative arts court, or let me say arts rights court that we hear is about to be established, or Chief Justice has given an assent to, which is supposed to take off from the next legal year, which starts in October? Do you feel it was based on pressure from the industry, or election years coming, or these people, quote unquote, make noise, we have to do something?
If I admit that it is as a result of recent pressure, or because we've got into the final lap, and hence the reason for them to live up to expectation with regards to the court, then I will be looking at it from a very pedestrian or even a peasant way, and I don't think that will be put right. What I would rather say is, right after Nanado, the president made certain promises that were supposed to see the light of day in first 100 days in office. So, if there is any pressure, the pressure has been there from right after he was sworn into office. So again, it's been the norm that we've been expectant that these things will happen. If it is happening now, recent history has taught us that in as much as the tenure of office is a 4-year period, once it happens, even on the last day, we are supposed to embrace it as being it's part of the norm, regardless of the timing. So I wouldn't want to say that they are trying to appease or make up for lost time. Because if it is about making up for lost causes, or if you really want to interrogate this properly, we sat here and then we played a voice note of the Chief Justice or the outgoing one of the Chief Justice last time. Yes, and then she explained that people would have to be trained, and there's a whole serious mechanism that is required to be brought to bear on the situation before you can institute the court. I'm not sure the Honorable Minister heard that noise. I'm not sure.
She wasn't minister then.
Yes, no, she was from the forestry, you know, and then she missed that.
But how do you know they've not put all these modalities in place? How do you know all this work hasn't already been done for this to take off in the next legal year? How do you know that the training hasn't been done, the people haven't been gotten? How do you know they're not ready?
Where I come from and what little I know of people at the helm of affairs and how they treat the creative art space and are accompanying noise.
You agree you make noise?
Oh, Uncle Ken, even this afternoon, if we rate your noise.
Taking inspiration from the minister's committee.
So, please, let's deal with that. Let's keep our noise, trust me. Now, you see, George Quaye, you asked me a question.
Yeah.
Nothing has been done. Nobody has been trained anyway. Because if...
Do you know that?
Listen, government is not a joke. And if anybody has been trained, we would, in the very least, have seen something or know the persons who have been... They would have trumpeted it to the higher heavens that, listen, we are doing XYZ. So, sit down and behave. Because it is happening. We told you it was going to happen, and it is happening. We know how it
But that's what they just said. That is going to happen from the next legal year.
That somebody has been trained.
It's not about the training. It's about the establishment.
We sat in this town not 100 years ago. In not too distant past.
It's about the establishment.
No, hold on. Sadiq, hold on. George Quaye. We sat here and we were given a whole ministry. We were promised a whole ministry, right? That, we are now into office, now creative arts people, we have a ministry. It took the better part of 2 years for the legal framework that should even back that institution to make it legal. Put that aside. The Creative Arts Council, have they been properly instituted?
The bill is in the draft process.
Let us focus on the...
No, I'm saying that there's a precedent. There's a precedent of successive government.
So you believe nothing has been done?
I'm telling you that this noise that I am making right now, I am appealing to the former forestry minister, who is now the creative arts minister, that she should bear with us, because there's really nothing else to do than to make noise.
Okay.
Uncle Ken.
George,
talk to us.
I want to maintain my stance that I have always had, that I do not think that governments should be venturing into promising so much to an industry that's private sector driven. I believe that what governments should do to industries of this nature is to provide laws that guide their operations. I was so happy when the Act 935 was passed in 2016.
The film and
the
film
Act, the Development and Classification of Film Act 935. I was so happy when that happened, because that takes care of the film industry. We have outstanding the Creative Arts Bill. It's still a bill. That's why I call it the Creative Arts Bill. And that should broaden the scope and look at other creatives in the industry. But yes, and how they are supposed to operate and the structure. That hasn't been done.
And I think that should be the concern of government, to get that creative act passed and stipulate how the creatives are going to work and what's going to guide them. If you ask me, that is most important. Now, coming to this court issue, that question that you asked, George, I'll tell you something. In the 90s, when Mrs. Betty Modi-Drisu was copyright administrator, to curtail some of the issues that arose with copyright, people doing, what she did at the time was to get the IGP to detail 2 police personnel to the Copyright Office. These police guys were taken for courses all over the world to study things to do with copyright and its ancillary, issues. And whenever a case arose, these 2 policemen were prosecution officers to prosecute that matters, and they sort of gave information to the judges who sat on such cases, because it is a very difficult thing to get every judge across the country to know the intricacies with copyright law. That's a specialized,
very, very vast
area for people. And that worked along during that time, in the 90s. I don't know what happened. And those police officers were taken off their beat because they were statutorily with the Copyright Office and dealt with any case that came up there across the country. When the NPP came up with that promise about instituting the Copyright Court, the previous Chief Justice, Madam Sofa Akufu,
last year,
came up with an issue when she said that she didn't think that instituting a particular court was the way to go, but rather training all the justices across the country to be conversant with the copyright issues would be the best. Because so if somebody had a copyright case in Jelinga, yes,
I remember we had that conversation.
That person didn't need to travel to a specialized court in Accra to have his or her case heard. And I don't know what happened. I think the people accepted that at the time.
Until now.
And now, here we are with a new dispensation, a new minister, a new Chief Justice, and the new Chief Justice has accepted to have a specialized court.
No, in fact, it's not a new minister. Same minister was
No. The former Chief Justice's case was with Catherine.
No.
It was after Catherine.
Yes, after Catherine last year. Exactly this month last year. She, together with I think Mark was involved in that meeting, went to meet. When she came in, at the time she had come in, I think she had been appointed some few months before that time, and they met the former Lordship Sophia Akufo, and then that's where she made that particular.
All right, thanks for the education, Sadiq. I always rely on you for such things. Sometimes, if you don't decide to go the other way, but George, we do not know the modalities for the setting up of these courts yet, because we've been told that it will be after the vacation in October when we get the details as to how these courts will operate. So let's just wait. But I just think that the most important thing is to get the laws in place and go according to the law in whatever you do.
Great. We've gone into the court bit. We've finished with that, but we started with the easing of restrictions, lessening of restrictions, the easing of restrictions for the, churches and stuff.
Which is your baby?
My heart.
You're working in events today.
Your heart throb. No, Uncle Ken, it is not just about a heart throb, but if I should tell you no, it is not about me, Uncle Ken. It is about the value chain of those that are home at the moment. When you look at the event value chain, people that rent chairs, people that give stage, screens, lights, sound, all these people are currently at home.
George, maybe
some of them
look, the level of losses currently.
It's not like I don't know. I know.
So what do you make of
I'm sitting here and plus 233 years not been working for the past 6 years.
So Uncle Ken, what is your take on this?
And it's depriving me of my entertainment.
So what is your take on this, Uncle Ken?
And when the empire
hold on, I want to know Uncle Ken's take.
You want to know who's
but that is the reason you're here.
Again, another issue I heard George Quaye speak on is this matter during the week. I think it was on a Monday morning. If I'm not on Hits FM. And I heard GQ in his element.
Uncle Ken is pretty dramatic.
George is advocating this for the
very dramatic this afternoon. I wonder what's happening. Uncle Ken, is everything okay?
For 3 months period, for just a period of 3 months.
You see what he's saying?
No. I mean, you're very dramatic today.
He's trying to gag me. He's trying to gag me. But you won't succeed.
No, I'm not. Yes, I am not.
Everything I've said about you this week is the fact. It's true.
On George's case.
Hold on. Let Uncle Ken land.
What is your problem?
Uncle Ken, please land. Please land.
George Quaye was in his element on Hits FM, comparing events. Let me classify the events. Social events. Comparing that to church attendances and posing questions as to why churches have been given the chance to congregate and events have not been given similar
privileges. Put it that way.
Yes.
Under the circumstances.
And
I did say so in my preamble. Yeah. That was exactly what I asked.
Oh, now have I said anything?
Go ahead.
Alain. And George then goes further to say, how can you differentiate between church congregants and event patrons? Did you not say that?
I did.
Yeah.
Do you need clarity?
I asked myself, is George Quaye serious? Congregants at church, I might not know, and I might not say all churches, but the church that I was brought up in, which is the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, PCG, I do not think that anybody going into church would be going with I don't
religious, psychological.
No, we'll be going with other intentions other than to listen to the word of God.
But that is not the only thing that happens in a church. And you see, the point I was making, Uncle Ken, don't worry, you mentioned me, I must be able to address it.
But
no, he won't land.
Yeah, but
I know where Uncle Ken is going. Okay, land.
When I mentioned what did I say?
You land.
I said you compared the two patrons, congregants and patrons, to an event.
And you made it clear that the church that you attended, when you were brought up in, they cannot be the same as event attendees.
Yeah, I am saying that when we come to event attendees, we cannot guarantee, for instance, and that is why I chose my church, because I don't think anybody going to my church on a Sunday morning.
You go there for entertainment value alone.
Thank you. But to listen to the word of God. But when I'm going for an event, it is for entertainment. And when you talk entertainment, controlling people going for an entertainment, I take myself, if I'm going for an entertainment, to say an event, to say when you invite those, George always invites me to VGMA events. when I'm going to a VGMA event, before I leave home, I might have had a couple of shots of liquor, just to get myself in
for
the
the
mood.
road.
Yes.
No, you would have fueled up.
Say it, it sounds better. Yeah, that one. Yeah, make it a song with it.
George,
Yes.
you see, and I am not even talking for myself alone. I am looking at the bangers. I went to Sadiq's 3 music awards, and right from the car park to the venue itself, Pokekeke and Nibi were all lined up across that area before I got in there. And the number of people who are downed themselves in these things, you cannot compare them to congregants in a church. That was my issue with George. Yes,
in that environment.
yes, and can be guided. And don't forget that people who go to church are asked to leave their names and stuff at the entrance.
Yes.
Before
Same cannot be cannot be done for
Abba.
if
If it is
restrictions.
open.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why not?
Oh,
Uncle Ken, can I speak now?
Kwame.
Because they'll be high end.
Oh,
Kwame.
hold on.
George,
Can I speak now?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
No, hold on. You see, now let us all take it in bits. Can we all agree that the church service is an event?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's an event.
It is an event.
Certainly an event.
All the elements that happen at a 3 music awards,
Correct.
similar elements happen in the church room.
Yeah.
So if Uncle Ken is telling me, am I not the same? Didn't you hear Kenata's song? Chick na Woko Club, Chapel. I just say exactly.
Correct.
It is the same people.
Right.
It is the same. Now the only difference is that I am attending a nightclub where the music is non-stop and I'm just going to dance, and you are attending an orgasm. You are attending an orgasm conference being organized by George Quaye. You understand me? Now, if you are speaking about liquor, the same way, do you know what people take in their houses when they are leaving to go anywhere at all?
And to church.
Hold on, Uncle Ken, but how do you know?
That is why I have been the Presbyterian church.
I have been in a church where I had to use the seat I was No, hold on, Uncle Ken. I said I have been in a church where I had to vacate my seat because the certain person sitting there
was blowing fuse.
Yes.
But was it the Presbyterian church?
Yeah, let's not go into that. You understand? And are we also aware that pubs can operate?
Yes.
Open air operating. So they are open. Uncle Ken, where is the reason? Exactly. Give me the reason why a 3 music awards. You cannot say that. Okay, so Sadiq, you can operate your show. If you are going to do it at the National Theatre, the National Theatre seating capacity is 1,540 or so, or 620 or something like that. You cannot go higher than 500 people. So go ahead and organize your event. Can't that be done?
Of course it can.
And you are speaking about church people leaving names. If you want database of people that attend events, trust me, the eventing people
have more data.
They have better data than the churches.
Because
and
you know you have sent me a ticket.
Exactly. I know I've sent you a ticket, and you have bought a ticket online. And if you attend a play like Uncle Ibo White only, you have all the details. A church can organize, but Ibo White cannot organize. What are we saying?
But George, understandably, I mean, at the point that before he landed, it was good that we made him land.
Exactly.
I mean, I saw his points within the context of the fact that, regardless of the fact that we've been the hardest hit and we're looking for solutions on how we can quickly pick up, we all need to understand that generally, people going to church or the church environment is a more sobered up environment than secular events. And so. Within the context of that, and you're supposed to measure, you're more than willing. Don't forget that the president highlighted the fact that when they opened up even for the churches, for just when it was 100, I mean, I don't know the basis for which we're saying that, but he made the point that they complied and they abided by the protocols. So it was on the basis of that he had to open it up a bit for them. So there's a particular good history that he's had to base it on. But with regards to us, I mean, yes, there's been events. The Emmys, for instance, within the context of the
How many people attended the Emmys?
Well, just about 100.
Correct.
It was also controlled, well managed, was produced a week before that, aired opposition to be a live event the week after that, and all of that. I know that perhaps that's where George is going to. But within that context, I mean, the president doesn't necessarily need to make a special announcement again. If truly he's opened up for 200 and you can have 200 people and do it just like Emmys. It means that there's an opportunity for you to still do it without necessarily having to wait for the president. But this doesn't negate the fact that the eventing industry as it is and the fact that it's been hit still needs some very, very special provisions to pick it up.
Correct.
I mean, the impact, like what I wanted to cite the impacts KPMG's report. I mean, nearly 40 million cities in just 3 months. Yes. This was just cancellations.
Yes.
And when you look at the event value chain, event value chain, it speaks to a diverse group of people, from the deco people to the guy who come and do stage, to runners, to production assistants, sound, to even the hotels. I mean, some of the hotels and venues are the biggest beneficiaries of eventing activities.
Hotels. Look, Sadiq, you can even stretch it to even transportation, salon, fashion, everything.
Everybody. Coming down to these musicians that we're talking about, how to enable us and make us funding to them. So I think that we still need to have a very deeper conversation on how to help the eventing industry to pick up. I see the angle George is going as well, but if that's what we want, there's an opportunity for us to do it anyway. Emmys have done it when it was 100. There's 200. There's an opportunity to still do it.
But Sadiq, you see, my point is this: the churches, it used to be 100, or was it 25? 100.
And now we moved from 25. 25 was when we did that.
And now you've opened it up. That they can go full congregation, just don't go beyond 2 hours or something like that. Full congregation in certain churches 1,000 plus.
Yes.
Yeah. That's 1,000 plus.
But they can have what? 200 at a specific time.
Which 200 at a specific time?
Currently.
No. They've opened. They can do church. Maybe I can be corrected. Yes, we have Kojo Puku on the line. Why do you think I'm complaining? Anyway, let's hear from Kwame Rasta, then we can go to the... Then you don't get that. Let us go to Kwame Rasta, then we can go to the phone lines and have a word with Kojo Puku. Well, Kwame, that is where my issue is.
That
is my problem.
Let's work.
So now you understand my cry.
I got you, so let's go right.
Rasta, your take. Then we go on the phone line and speak to Kojo.
George, something stops us before Rasta comes in. Nothing stops us. If the provisions are there, if the churches could do that.
No, are you doing an event tonight?
No, thank you very much. Engaging George.
You meet him outside, please. George.
Yes, where's that?
You see, I didn't know that the president says all the church people them should go and praise God. I also don't know about event people not being able to do their events because from where I come from, where I live between the Kwapim South District and then the Kwapim North District.
Aburi Falls is within Kwapim South.
Yes, and then Mampong is Kwapim North, Ikropon, and then also I work at the Okere, which is after so so from Ayimensa to Aprede, I'm always shuttling between, but the brief period that we were on total lockdown. If the president is saying that now open house pub and close house, those places are not.
But we're not. We've never been on total lockdown. So
okay, at the height of it, that period, yes,
we were
it was still a partial lockdown.
And those areas were not on lockdown.
Which down?
Akwapim areas were not.
No, they weren't.
No, they were lockdown.
No.
They were not.
No, I think the point he's trying to make is that tourism was affected and they were affected too.
No.
Okay,
the point I'm making is at a point in time on the ridge, you couldn't move freely.
How?
Because that was the directive. That's what we were told.
Well, Ebri is part of it. Ebri is in the eastern region.
It's in the eastern region, but then again, but that was the situation. The hotels were shut. Some are still shut down. Maybe by their own,
interpretation.
But the point I'm making is, the beer bars and the pubs and
have always been open.
The word is beer, not beer.
What did he say? Beer.
He said beer. It's beer.
It's pressure in Venice.
It's beer. Somebody also said the same thing on Hit FM the other day. It's not beer. It's beer.
I get you, but I pronounce it in the German way.
Yeah, allow him to pronounce it the way it goes down his throat.
Beer. Thank you. Well, unfortunately, I don't drink. So, yes. George, so if we are sitting here and we are discussing these things, I am seeing a situation where I'm forced to ask myself, okay, so what is the fuss about? Why is the president easing restrictions? Why is he imposing restrictions? I think, correct me if I am wrong, the essence is to help stem the tide of the virus.
The spread.
Now, if that is the case, whether it's 100 congregation event or a 2,000 congregation event, whether it is in a synagogue or in a shrine or in a nightclub, what does the science tell us? If one person is affected by the nature of
the virus,
the way the event is supposed to roll out, do they speak? Do they shout? Are they supposed to shake hands? If you are in a closed space and enclosed space, is it more risky that you're going to contract the virus in spite of you wearing your
mask,
the protective gear?
Yeah, the PPE, the mask and some of those things,
Now, so if the science says that even if you are in a mosque and you are 3 and you are not doing XYZ, you can still contract it, then we shouldn't be there. In spite of you being at a minimum capacity.
Nobody should be anywhere.
You understand? Now,
from your...
No, yes,
from what you're saying,
the science or the experts have advised.
I get you, but you see, if you listen to what the president said, and permit me to interrupt and read, it says President Nana Addo Dankwa has announced further easing of COVID-19 restrictions covering congregational worship and entertainment sites, transport operations, and football activities. In his 14th address on update on the national response to the pandemic, the president said life could not be put on hold indefinitely once it was clear that until treatment was found, the COVID-19 would remain a part of the life of the people.
Right, good. So if
so we have to find a way to live it.
No. So yes,
that's why we should
that particular
Thank you.
Bit again
should be
is probably where I was going to land with. Listen, if again some group of persons have, in as much as their modus operandi within the space, let's say let me be specific. The church situation is such that there's no way you can prevent the spread if any of them, because it's not like when you get to the entrance of your church, apart from the gun, the temperature gun that they washing of hands. If you have it,
you have it.
You have it. And if you are a carrier that can transmit,
you will transmit.
When you enter in the presence of God, you will transmit, and when the person has a low,
even the angels in the church can get some.
Name of God.
Let me go to the phone line and speak to Kojo Poku. Kojo.
Yes.
Kojo, good evening. How are you doing, boss?
Not bad.
Yeah, Kojo, your line is a bit faint. You'd have to speak up a bit, yeah?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Loud and clear, my brother. Loud and clear. Kojo, so I don't know if you listened to the president's 14th address, state of COVID address, if I can put it that way.
Yes, I listened to it, and I'll go straight to the point.
Go straight to the point.
And especially Uncle Ken. And I really am not comfortable when people equate events to be entertainment. Events is not just about fun and entertainment and people shouting and dancing. When we talk about events, it's a broad spectrum of activities, including conferences, meetings, and different kinds of celebrations. So if people are not meeting and people are not having any form of celebration, whatever the occasion is, that's event that is. We're talking about 100 over 100 million, according to the survey that MPAC, which is Events and Entertainment and Meeting Professionals Association of Ghana, asked KPMG to conduct for 20 of Ghana's entertainment and event management companies. For the 20 companies, and I just want to give you the statistics. They appeared in the graphic. Or there's over 800 permanent jobs, 4,000 temporary jobs, and over 100 million in revenue loss in just the last 4 months alone. And this is only 20 companies in Ghana with this statistic. So if you look at the bigger numbers for the bigger industry, I can only imagine the numbers that we will get from all the other event vendors dotted across the country. Event is not just entertainment. If somebody is having a conference for 200 people right now, he cannot do it. If somebody is having a workshop training program for more than 100 people, he cannot do it. If you look at the number of people that have worked behind the scenes for Ghana Music Awards, and George, you have been a key factor in Ghana Music Awards over the years, you will realize that even for Ghana Music Awards, we have to build tents outside the venue just to be able to cater for the extra hands that come to work on the event. I do audiovisuals, and for Ghana Music Awards alone, my crew on the day is sometimes up to 15. If you add the other service providers to it, we are more than 800 for Ghana Music Awards alone. So if you allow events to go on and you say you are only allowed up to 100, including crew, then what are we talking about here? So if tomorrow Jometto decides that he's going to book Perez Dome, he is having Yesumo concert, will you consider that an event or a church service? Can he say that he is conducting the event and applying social distancing protocols and still go ahead and do the event there? So would you consider that an event or it's a church service? Because church service is worship. And so if he's doing an event that is worshiping God and he's singing the same song that is sung during the church service, is it a church service or is it an event? I think the distinction that has been made between event and church service at this point in determining who opens and who doesn't, it's rather unfortunate. Event companies were made to shut down at the same time that schools, churches, and all other social gatherings were made to shut down at the same time. So if the committee that is advising the government find it necessary to also open, why don't they consider events as well? Because if I am having a product launch,
but could you hold on? Could you hold on?
What is the likelihood that people are going to be shouting and clapping and help spread the virus compared to a church service where there will be prayers, there will be singing, and Uncle Ken mentioned Presby and all those Orthodox churches. I can understand, but let's do the comparison and see the number of churches in Ghana right now that are Orthodox vis-a-vis those that are charismatic and are going to be really talking and shouting and screaming and praying.
But could you, what do you also say to those who say that, look, when you compare the two, and you look at the way Ghanaians love religion, and Ghanaians would follow their leader, the church leader, what they say. There are church leaders who declare this year is year of this, and the congregation would follow through. Today we are fasting, the congregation will follow. Some have argued that in the same way when they come to church, once the leader says we are all sitting, we are not shaking hands, keep your mask on, they would follow. But you cannot achieve same at an event ground.
I can understand it when you categorize events into different segments. If you are telling me that you are not going to allow open air concerts, I can understand. But you cannot categorize events to include every entertainment. Because if Uncle Lebo is doing a play at National Theatre, which has a capacity of about 1,500, and you say, okay, bring it down to 50%, but still go ahead and have the event, it is not different from a church service. It is no different from a church service. There are scripted events and there are non-scripted events. if somebody is advising the committee, the person should understand the nitty-gritty of the industry. To understand that there are different types of events.
Hold on. Sadiq has a question for you. Hold on, Kojo. Sadiq has a question. Sadiq, go ahead.
Kojo?
Yes.
Okay, it's on the...
Yeah. Go ahead.
Kojo? Yeah, so, I mean, you make the point, right, that there's no difference between, an event and then the church. Do you think that on the basis of this, we need a certain special announcement? Because, you see, when it was announced that people could congregate within the 25 period limited number, some events came on within that context. When it was announced that 100 people could congregate in hundreds, some events did come on within that context. So if an announcement has been made that people could congregate in this particular case, even if it's referring to church or the churches were the focal point, it means that you could take advantage of it as well and go on, because mind you, like you are advocating, you're not looking to do the 200 or 2,500 or
no. But Sadiq, I think there was some specification that public events and gatherings could not go on.
Let me come in, George.
Go ahead.
If you have watched the space carefully, even with the 100 people that are allowed to have events in Ghana right now, corporate Ghana is being very, very, very careful not to do any event. I stand corrected, but I haven't heard any corporate body that has gone ahead to do any event, even with the 100 people that are allowed. Because you don't want your event grounds to be the grounds that somebody walks in and with the social media happening right now, with the media team right now, and cover that X company is doing an event, and when the task force checked, the number of people or crew who are in there are over 100, and so the event is being shut down. No corporate body is ready to put their job on the line like that. And so what's
the way forward? What can we do right now?
Mention of events being opened. It is going to be very, very, very hard for us who have invested our sweat and blood in this industry and are looking after a huge number of people. And people don't understand that apart from carpentry, apart from furniture, if you look at carpenters in Ghana, set building is one of the things that they do. And a lot of the people who do carpentry work in Ghana are not getting the business, not because people are not buying furniture, not because people are not building houses, but it's because events are also suffering. You can talk about welders, you can talk about painters, you can talk about people who do carpets, you can talk about dressmakers, you can talk about hairdressers.
It's a large value chain.
Nobody is sitting down to actually calculate the ripple effect that opening events up in Ghana is going to have on the economy, because nobody has taken this time to really understand the economy. And that is where my point is.
Kojo, hold on. Kojo, slow down. Kojo, slow down. Breathe. Uncle Ken wants to ask a question.
Kojo.
Uncle Ken.
Oh, I don't know quanta go high, sir.
Uncle Ken, because they're coming to me.
Kojo, listen. I am with you. My issue was with George Quaye. Okay? And the statements he made in that interview with Andy Dusty on Hits FM. I was trying to combat that because I agree with you 100% that event organizers are suffering. And I think that if you can allow Trotros to take full passengers, and you will not allow the National Theatre to have capacity in an event where everybody else will be wearing face masks.
But it wasn't the same thing I said, Uncle.
Hold on. If you cannot allow that to happen, then there is a problem. But I am hopeful that all these restrictions are being eased gradually. And I do know and hope that later on, not too far from now, things will open up a bit more.
Okay, by that time we would have all folded up and we would have all let our staff go and join the bandwagon of unemployed youth in this country. Because it doesn't make any sense that for a place like Grand Arena, which has the capacity to even seat 4,000. I am having an event there, and I cannot even operate at a third of the capacity. And you will allow a church to go on and operate. It doesn't even make any economic sense to anybody. Because if you look at the venues that we have, they all have the capacity. You can give a directive and give a ceiling on the number that is allowed. National Theatre is 1,005. You will say, okay, operate at a third of your capacity. Then that means that people can still go ahead and have events there, but they are very mindful of the protocols, and they can still operate. But if there is that blanket thing that, okay, up to 100, for production that goes on in this country, the crew alone, if you are having an event at Kempinski, the staff at Kempinski who will serve drinks and food and all that, they are about 50. Add technical people to it. Your 100, you have already received it. Where is the audience coming to take part in the event? But if you look at the ballroom at Kempinski, which is able to have a 600
yeah.
people event, and you say to me, you can go ahead and operate that facility at a third of its capacity. It makes every economic and medical sense.
Kojo, have you taken advantage of the stimulus packages that have been introduced to help people like you?
The stimulus package is 600 million for every business, every industry in this country. Unlike other countries that have actually seen the sector as a very, very peculiar one. You cannot compare events people to somebody who operates a travel and tour. Not even travel and tour. We are saying, but if you look at somebody who operates, let's say, a shop, that sells provision, that has also applied for this package. You cannot compare an event company to such a company. Event companies are very, very peculiar because unlike all other events, unlike all other industries that are partially been running, we have been completely shut down from the March 11th or 12th when the government said you cannot have any social gathering. And we have been completely shut down. Up until last week, I was in the house because there is nothing happening. If somebody is doing an event, an engagement for 50 people engagement, Uncle Ken, you have an auntie who knows how to cook. You have some cousin who does some cake. You have some friend who has some sound system. You will put that together and you will have your engagement going without involving the actual event planners and event practitioners who have invested a lot. And let me put this on record. The private sector on their own have helped Ghana chalk all the successes that we have chalked globally, including the year of return last year. Because the government put out the campaign last year for year of return. But the private sector on their own invested heavily. And I said at the impact engagement that we had that over 16,000 square meters of extra space capacity was added to the country's capacity last year because of the year of return. And this is all private sector. And let me give you a breakdown.
But unfortunately, no, we don't have the time for the breakdown. Kojo, this is what we will do. Kojo. Kojo, hold on one sec. Hold on one sec. This is what we are going to do. We are going to monitor again this weekend and hope that restrictions for events will be lessened. If they are not lessened, we're going to invite you to the studio next week and we're going to push this one hard. At this point, we have to end it here. Let me say thank you very much for your time. No, Uncle Ken, producer says we should move on. We have one more. Arnold is in the studio. We have that Arnold and the other conversation and other things to do.
The minister's briefings that she had with industry players
hold on, Kojo,
this week.
Kojo, without us, we all cannot perform. Without us.
Kojo, you have a point. I mean, Kojo has a point. Kojo, calm down.
Calm down. Did you see the little boy who asked the mom to calm down? In that video that was trending. Kojo, did you attend the minister's briefing that she had this week with industry players?
But it was a by invitation.
Has had several engagements with the ministry. MPAC has had several engagements with the tourism organizations you have in this country, and we have been taking part in all the stakeholder engagement, and we have been making this point clear that we need to open up events the same way that we are opening up churches. Of course, we will apply the restrictions. Of course, we will stick to the protocols. But the same way that the religious sector has put pressure on government for government to open up, it's the same way that we also need to apply the same pressure for us to open up.
We'll have to end it here, Kojo. We're out of time, unfortunately. So what we're going to do, like I said, that's a promise. If by next week these restrictions haven't been loosened or what's the word, Seth? We'll invite you into the studio so we can continue this conversation. Boss, let me say thank you very much for your contribution this afternoon. And I can feel your passion. You know I'm with you. I am with you.
This is all that we have devoted our lives for. So
this is it. So we have, yes, exactly. We don't have a choice. Chale Kojo, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness. So we are wrapping it up on this one. And then we've got a lot more to do. Now, it's been a pretty busy week. Entertainment pundit Anoda Smoabedu has dared singer Wiala to seek a restraining order from the law courts to stop him from commenting about her on entertainment shows. Yes. This is exactly what Arnold said. Take a listen.
But me can was in media. I know they say a fallacy. And you're possible.
And so back can
oh no, say in the Ejumane, once or you're entertainer or counsel or music industry, the topic be back near born on she cannot stop us from speaking about her. Unless, of course, a court order a week. Okay, so Mammy can was and look at still a wedding. You see, our commentary need I think a fallacy is any possible. So you can be now of a defamatory or they will greet you and I say affecting a brand. Then he can do the honorable thing by taking us to court.
Hi everybody, my name is Wiala, aka the Lioness of Africa, and this message is going to industry players, especially those who do the blogging, criticizing and whatever. Please, KMJ or JMJ, and Asamoah and all your whatever, yes. Whatever doesn't mean I'm being rude, but to everybody.
Showbiz A to Z.
Success in every endeavor requires critical partnership. When it comes to consumer home electronics, quality from Syndicated Capital is your trusted partner. Not just any TV, but the quality satellite and digital LED TV provides inbuilt satellite and digital decoders, over voltage protection, free wall mount, and now the state-of-the-art surround sound bar to deliver an unparalleled entertainment experience. Not just any decoder, quality digital and satellite combo decoders come with auto scan, voltage protector, NCA approval, multi-TV certification, unlimited internet content, and 24/7 movies online. Quality products are available on hire purchase to private and government workers, police and army personnel for as low as 27 Ghana cedis per month. Call us on 0302-242-532 or 0204-413-484 or visit Syndicated Capital at number 28 Farrar Avenue, Adabraka, Accra. Quality. We deliver on our promise.
Every day, thousands of men, women, and children all over Ghana need blood transfusion to live again, and you can do something to help.
My name is Father Andrew Campbell. I'm parish priest of Christ the King Catholic Church, Cantonment, Accra. Every pint of blood you give can save 3 lives. May you give blood, and all of us together make the world a healthier place to live in. Thank you.
Contact the National Blood Service on 0277 501 010 for further inquiries. Save blood, saves lives.
Accidents do happen. It could be a motor accident, a sudden heart attack, or even a stroke, or any other health emergency. The first steps you take are very critical. Should you be involved in or witness an accident, call 112 for the fastest ambulance response. With over 300 well-equipped ambulances all over Ghana, you are assured of the fastest response to your emergency calls. Call 112 during critical health emergencies and save your life and that of your family and loved ones. 112, help will come. 112, we are safe. Avoid prank calls as they can lead to loss of life of persons in actual need of help. Be a responsible citizen.
If we change the way we look at things, the things we look at change.
Winning strategies, nuggets of wisdom, unforgettable stories, all in one inspirational hour. Springboard your virtual university with Albert and Comfort Grant and guests.
Planning is bringing the future into the present.
A job is for the salaries, mundane, survival oriented, and there's no passion. But a career has fulfillment, innovation, drive. A growth path is clear, and you can build step by step all the way to the top.
Matriculate at 7 p.m. and graduate at 8 p.m. every Sunday on Joy 99.7 FM and live on Facebook. Springboard is brought to you by Legacy and Legacy and Joy 99.7 FM and proudly sponsored by MTN, Enterprise Group, UMB Bank, and Axis Pension Trust with support from the graphic business.
This is the open house party.
Make some sound in the boat. My tackle. And you good at it. Good at it. I will pen and Japayo. Seban Jom. Me here for wood to an hour. Hairdresser for the shoemaker for to win your bank. I wear Banjuma and put a head. I want that. I am more.
This is the open house party.
DJ Black, he's gonna rock you. He's gonna open house party. Open house party.
This is the open house party.
The only plastic DJ on this air. We don't feel you, man. Bring it back. We're the only plastic DJ on this air, man. We don't feel you, but
live every Saturday between 8 p.m. and 12 a.m.
Yeah, man.
On your Super Hits Radio, Joy 99.7 FM.
I'm feeling this show. Hey, Missy Ne, baby, Missiano. Real deal, package and casa. Tall, dark, pink lips, muscular with six-pack. Handsome, with designer clothes and shoes, baby. Girl, he wasn't playing at all. Hey, that. I was eyeing him the whole time. Sonia Mitchell, I strategically positioned myself in front of him. And then he opened his mouth and said hello. Oh, we're ready. And Capelli. Hey, slow.
Don't let it happen to you. Use the new Blue Close-Up Cool Breeze toothpaste. It comes with a new minty flavor for long-lasting fresh breath. Stay fresh with Cool Breeze, because blue is the new cool. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
At ShopRite, you'll find everything you need and more, from our world-class butchery and bakery to the freshest fruit and veg, all at the lowest prices.
Like a 900 grams Ariel hand washing powder for only 18 Ghana cedi, 99 pesos. And get a 400 grams of McVitie's original digestive biscuit for just 13 Ghana cedi, 99 pesos.
Valid till 9th August. ShopRite, lower prices you can trust always.
The heat, feed the soul, make me dance.
It is Showbiz A to Z.
I wanna feel the heat, feed the soul, make me dance all night long.
The station is Joy 99.7 FM. Check with your time at 17 after 7. 17. I mean, that's 5:17. The devil is a liar. In the studios, I've got Kwame Rastanko Kanadi, Sadiq Abdullah Abu, and we've been joined by Arnold Asmabi. Arnold, how are you doing?
I'm good, George.
You're good?
Very good.
You've been in the news Oh, Charlie. And you've chopped this for a lot of people that become me. You've chopped this for Rihanna.
They say Rihanna's new publicist.
And ironically, in her video, she talked about not wanting to do something that would take her to the slaughterhouse. She rather took me to the slaughterhouse. So, in this country, who gets more insults than you? Oh, Bulldog. Bulldog is a colleague. No, I mean, I'm on that. Bulldog. Then you. Who? So Bulldog is that. This is that you go.
Are you? I don't know why I didn't think of it. You did. Yeah, you did. Are you guys saying Bulldog gets a lot more?
Yes. So Bulldog is number one. Bulldog is number one. Bulldog is number one. And the other number two. No, George is number two. No, how much is number two?
I want your latest track. It make you and George. Yeah. George, you're waiting for me. I want to pose a question.
Yes, sir.
The flack Bulldog gets. Does he deserve that flack?
Yes, I do. Again, please, let's move on.
Thinking about
we are running out of time. Let's get into it. I know, very quickly, your thoughts on this creative art and loosening of restrictions thing. I mean, thoughts on it, because clearly an industry is being collapsed. I don't know if you also see it that way. Or is it, are we being protected, or is an industry being collapsed?
It's a dicey situation, because we are not the only country that's been affected.
Yeah.
I mean, there are countries that have been badly hit by this COVID-19.
Yeah.
But when you consider them, they've even relieved some of their restrictions. UK, Russia, especially for cinema. I mean, most of them opened their cinemas as way back as May.
Yeah.
You get it. So even for those countries, they understand and they appreciate the level of influence that
the creative
industry brings, and so they know. And so they've relaxed on most
some of the restrictions.
So for me, I was thinking, based on what is transpiring outside, we take some cues and also do ours. But I mean, they know better. The president knows better.
You need to add that even for those industries, the more reason why you haven't seen a number of this extensive agitations like it's happening now is the reliefs that has been provided and how quickly it's been made available to the sector. But in this particular case, I mean, Kojo had intimated how MPAC has been having different engagements again and again, and still it doesn't look like there's any relief customized for them in sight. And so in so doing, if they still need to continue to be in business, they need to ensure that they do events now.
But we should also give
a number of guys will go down.
The guys in government some benefit of the doubt. I'm sure they also go through some thorough checks. They do their reviews and do their analysis to actually figure out what exactly.
They rely on their science and data.
Yeah, so sometimes
that's science and data.
We should give them some benefit. You look like
you don't believe in science and data.
Look at who amongst the decision makers are we granting that reprieve of benefit of the
gentlemen is okay. We finish this topic. I know you wrote a long thesis. Very, very, very long thesis. It was a beautiful read, though. On Riella, what were you really trying to say? For those that haven't really had the opportunity to read it, what was it all about? Give us the general.
Because I've written quite.
No, the most recent. Yeah, the most recent. The graphic show was this Thursday.
I was just trying to put some clarity to exactly what was said that caused her to be agitated.
Yeah.
And then also to dissect some of the things she said in her video.
Yeah.
And I felt, well, she had the right to speak. But then most of the things she talked about were full of inconsistencies and flaws. Especially when you consider what is pertaining now in the industry. I felt she was way off in her utterances, and I do respect her for coming out to actually speak up when she felt she's been disrespected. However, the things she spewed, I felt were not appropriate, and so I had to address it.
You had to address it.
To address the fact that I've been accused for saying something I did not say, so I wanted to bring clarity to exactly what I said.
Let's do this. For the benefit of those who don't know what this is all about, let us first hear what Riella said, and then you can continue as to why you wrote what you wrote. This is Riella Morella using her socials to address what she thought was some injustice or, some aspersions cast against her, if I should put it that way.
Hi everybody, my name is Wiala, aka the Lioness of Africa. And this message is going to industry players, especially those who do the blogging, criticizing, and whatever. Please, KMJ or J&J, and Asamoah and all your whatever. Yes, whatever doesn't mean I'm being rude, but to everybody, if I don't really count in this industry, or if I don't count, and I have never been counted as part of this industry, then don't discuss me when you are talking about the showbiz or show business in Ghana. You can't always mention my name and turn around, say, oh, shout out to Wiala, but she doesn't really count because she and her manager are just concentrating abroad, doing international stuff. Why won't I concentrate there? Why won't I do that? Why? And then the music industry is dead because Kaki, Ebony, and Miss V all of a sudden are no more doing music. You can always call them back, can't you? Since the rest of us, you think, are not controversial enough, we are not showing skin enough, we are not insulting each other enough, we are not attacking each other enough, so that you can get something to write. And then you can take us to the slaughterhouse, or take me to the slaughterhouse, divide me into pieces, say all kind of manner of things about me or us, so that you can have something to talk about. You think some of us are idiots, eh? We should come and fool because we want to win Artist of the Year. And then, what next? What do we get from that? What do we get? In Ghana, there are no royalties. So, some of us might not be the most intelligent, but we do have brains to understand that when you do foolish songs, just because you want to get attention and win some few awards, you're actually fooling yourself. Or when you try to get involved in this kind of industry, that it doesn't really make sense. That's why some people come in, they realize what is going on, then they back off and just keep quiet. But please, when you are talking, try to encourage. Don't try to downplay another artist to make others feel good. And those of you trying to make Wiala feels like she hasn't arrived, or I have not arrived, or I will never arrive until I win maybe Artist of the Year, or I win more awards. Please, I am not here to win Artist of the Year because I am not an Artist of the Year kind of musician. I am an artist forever and ever and ever. Even when I'm dead, you will still hear my music in your grave. I don't know your problem, but if I don't really count, stop mentioning my name when you are discussing your showbiz things. Please keep me out. I'm all about positivity. Please, let those who want to do all that, do that. I respect everybody. The sky is so beautiful and filled up with so many stars, but there are still spaces for us all. Okay? Peace, love, and unity. I beg you, don't do this. It's not the best. When you do this,
live video of this when they represent performances.
Interesting. I know.
Yes, boss.
So that was what she said, and this is what you were reacting to.
Yes, I mean the second article.
Interesting.
I had to react.
Very interesting. But exactly what did you say?
So I think last week Thursday there's a new program.
Yeah.
It's not really new, relatively new.
Yeah.
Ghana Web TV.
Yeah.
So they call it the Bloggers Forum. So on that day, one of the topics for discussion was something GMG was
Mr. J
said that the fact that after the lives of Kaki, Miss V, and Ebony left the scene, the level of vibrancy within the female fraternity is either low or virtually non-existent. That's what he said, was reported to have said. So that was what we were discussing. But in the same article, KMG gave shout-outs to Wiala. Very positive shout-out.
JMG or KMG?
JMG, in the same article, gave shout-outs to Wiala, stating that, Wiala is doing well out there. She could be an exception. Quote, unquote. So it's a positive shout-out. So in my commentary, I'm like, no, I do not agree with JMG. Because I feel the likes of Kaki and Co, they left the scene for like the past 3 years or so. Within this period, there's been some female artists within our space they've been trying. They've been pushing. They've been putting a lot of effort into their craft. The likes of Adina, Wendy Shea, Estefia, Naso, and a few others. And so it would be unfair for JMJ to actually not credit these young ladies for everything that they've been doing.
Exactly.
Considering the fact that in the last couple of, I don't know about this platform, we've been talking about how the ladies have been sidelined.
Even here, we
I felt for him who has managed a female artist before, he could have been more modest in his submission, and then encourage these young female artists to do more. And I said, I'm even confused with regards to the reference she made to Riala, because when it comes to our space, and considering what he said, the fact that the vibrancy within our space for the females is low or non-existent, I'm like, when it comes to quality music, the penning and production of quality music, and who has the biggest international appeal, that one Riala is number one.
Yeah.
However, if we are talking about this space, this Ghanaian frontier, Riala is not out there. And there's a probability that she and her handlers are concentrating on the international market. That's what I said. I did not see how this becomes disrespectful, becomes an affront or denigrating to her brand or her personality.
Let us find out from Riala exactly what she also heard. We have the Lioness of Africa on the line. Hello?
Hello.
Noella Riala, my name is George Quaye. How are you?
I'm fine. I know you.
It's been a while. How are you doing, dear?
I've been doing great. How are you too?
We're very well. We're very well. And hey, congratulations on all the work you're doing up there. How's work treating you?
Well, it's super. And village life is fun.
Are you in the village at the moment, or you're down in Accra?
I'm in Tamale. I have a performance tonight.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, you have an opportunity to perform. Some of us can't even do events.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a virtual event. Oh, okay. That's great. That is great. We were hoping you could join us in the studio, but it's all good. One of my favorite, before we get into the substantive matter, one of my favorite songs and videos from you is Leno.
Leno.
Yes, Leno. Can you tell us about it? Where did you even shoot the video?
Well, I was abroad, and the video director happened to be a friend of mine, Charlie Appleton, who had come to Ghana to direct Vodafone Icons. And she said I should just let her shoot one of my music videos. And I told her, well, my music videos, really, I would love to. I have my own ideas, kind of, but let me see which one can really fit the atmosphere where we were at that moment. And Leno was the one I felt like, okay, it has more of Western vibe, even though the language is necessarily, it's just a blend of the two. That's how come we even use a white guy. And besides, talking about love. And she also had this wicked idea that she said she's been waiting and she wants to get creative. I should just allow her to shoot. So I said, okay, she should go ahead, and then she shot it. And she came with the ideas, and it was really nice. So.
That's beautiful. I think it was nominated for Best Video or something, was it not?
Yes, I think so, yeah, but I didn't win.
Yes, it doesn't matter. But I think that was the same year in which you won Best Female Vocalist, was it not?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. And I think you also won Songwriter of the Year. Was it that same year?
Yes, that was the same year.
Beautiful. Congratulations on all the awards that you have won. You're doing great. Did you, somebody was asking if you fooled yourself to win them.
What I fooled myself?
To win them.
Mr. George, like you said, it's a business. So at that moment, my song suited what was happening, I guess. So, because I remember when I entered that award, I entered more categories. But you guys, I don't know who did the placement, but they placed me where they felt they should put me. I entered more. I'm very serious. I entered more, but unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not going to say I'm sad. I'm not sad. Some of the songs were taken out of the categories, and they were repositioned in certain categories. One or two remained, which was vocalist. It remained, but the others like Go Go Ghana, which had then appeared on the billboards and got attention abroad, and being the second Ghanaian to even make it to that billboard after Osibisa. So, and it was played. Huawei even picked it up and added it to one of the advertisements. So that category actually suited the song. I entered it more than a lot of the, including angels and all that. And then it was all repositioned and all that. So I said, okay, fine. No problem. So I didn't make any fuss about it. I came back immediately. For me, I just realized, okay, this is how it's done. And I've watched you on Pundit where you said, look, this is a business, and we are not here to be attending to artists' emotions and all that. So whenever the business sees, so to me, I'm thinking, okay, whenever the business sees opportunity to add anybody they feel will make their business work, fine. So I just kept quiet. And besides, you said the rules and regulations. So when I realized that, no, it wasn't favoring me, that's why I pulled out of the entrance. And I'm saying this with all honesty and happy and with no hating and all that. If you remember, I've never made any big deal about, make any fuss about VGMA, unless that tweet, which came out as a joke and ended up being seen as me being sarcastic because of the invitation, and I was at the farm, which was really, really, I was on the farm when the call came. And I'm like, oh my God, if only they knew I'm on the farm and they send the ticket. And just say, oh, then take a picture, post it, and tell them you are on the farm. I'm sure they understand, so that people know that after all you have been invited. But it came out in the wrong way. Since then, I've never made those kind of tweets about the VGMA because I did win, but I also kind of understand in my own way that, the way this thing is, okay, let me just add something else. Let me look elsewhere as well. Yeah.
Interesting. I really appreciate the love you have for the award scheme. I mean, it's nice. It's deep. I really, really like it.
Yes. I'm not against VGMA because you and I know when you invite me to perform and I'm available, I come and do it. If I'm not available, then I say, oh, I'm not available. That's it.
I really love it, and I love you for that. But you know what I find strange is, and I'm not the only one, when we watched your outburst, I'm sure we'd go into the what really acted you so much to get you into that state. We watched your outburst. There were things you said about your fellow musicians in the industry, that you are not going to fool yourself to win an award. But what you've said right now, you've given so much respect to the VGMAs, and I'm sure by extension to all other award schemes. So if you give them so much respect, why won't you give your fellow artists the same kind of respect and say they would fool themselves to win an award?
Mr. George, yes, when we are angry or we are upset or we are not comfortable with certain situation. Now, this is the main reason why I made that video. And I would like to use this opportunity to apologize to every artist, any artist who feels offended by my line that I said, foolish songs. Any artist who feels offended, I'm sorry, because it has never been my intention to attack another musician, because we are all hustling. It's not easy. But for lack of better word, let me go back to the pundits again. These are songs those days. There was a time when the pundits themselves were crying that the music industry is being filled up with junk music or disposable music. So equally, that was what I was referring to. That's what I was referring to.
Oh.
So if anybody feels offended about this, any musician, I'm sorry, because I'm also an artist. Like we say, we should build, not tear each other down. So for that, I am sorry, but I was speaking from emotions. So that's it.
Interesting. Then really, what was it at all that the pundit said that really got you so emotional? What didn't you like about what you heard that got you so emotional?
Part of the industry. That line, Wiala is not even part of the industry. And this has cost me gigs, interviews, both locally and international. 2 scenarios. I was billed to perform at the Mo Ibrahim concert alongside Angelique Kidjo, Mo Ibrahim, everybody. The amount of money they were going to pay was 25,000 Ghana cedis. I'm not even lying. I stopped all my rehearsals, everything, to travel abroad, prepared with my band. By then I was with the Jimba War Band. We got ready for everything. I didn't travel because I had already, and they said they are booking me because this kind of performance suits my kind of music, and they also love to show how they got talent, with good quality and all that. I went to the office with my manager. It was a story building in Accra. Only for the gig to get to 1 week or so, we were not hearing anything. Later, things changed. They were told that I'm not in the country. Even me, I don't concentrate here, but we have our A-list artists, use them. They have more buzz, blah, 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 blah. I don't know how they did it, but with all respect, so Tomboy and Saturday were put there to perform. Beautiful acts and all that. I was there at the show still, but I was right here in Ghana. So when these words kept going on and on, it got to a point. A lady came here looking for me from Europe with her cameraman, only to be told, "Oh, you don't really want to interview Riala because she's not always here. It's either she has gone back to Wa or her village where it's far, blah blah blah. She's not part of the system. She has left it for us." These comments. But what actually made me even more upset was these are the same guys. When they meet you, they will tell you are doing great. Keep it up. Don't mind this our industry. If you're joking with this industry, you this, you that, blah blah blah. Some of them even ask me for tips. Now I'm not going to mention names anymore because it would be like I'm attacking. Some of them have personally asked me, Miala, tell me, so how did you even do it? You know, I want to know. You're a manager, you have done so great. And I went, I told them everything. That even though the disappointment will come, but keep going, blah, blah, blah. And we all laughed. We had a little gossip. We laughed, make fun. Only for them to, and I see those little tips they also use them with their various artists, which is good. After all, we all learn from each other. Then later, a gig comes, and you are not even removing food from my mouth. You're actually closing all doors to me because of those words. We are concentrating abroad. And I said, why wouldn't I concentrate abroad? Because when I started, Mr. George, if Foresight TV will tell the truth, I paid them 3,000 cedis to play Rock My Body. I sent money.
Really?
Yes. They asked me that for me to get the publicity, I need to pay. I don't have a problem paying solely. But if I pay
wait. So you're saying that Foresight Music collected 3,000 CDs from you to play your music video?
Abdullah Ishaq is my witness. And that was the year they nominated.
In which year was this?
In Ghana here.
Do you remember who at Foresight TV actually took the money from you?
It was Ignis or the Agnes.
Ignis, not Agnes. It's Ignis.
Sorry. I mean Ignis.
Yeah, he's the CEO.
Yes, and of course it's their TV station. So I want publicity. So yes, I'll pay. So I paid that money, and when you pay, you definitely monitor what is going to happen. All the things they said they were going to play, how many times they'll play the song. They didn't. Okay, they nominated me for a song, Rock My Body and New Act or something.
So wait, they took your money and still didn't play the song as they had promised you?
They had promised, and you know my manager, he'll tell you contract. And even at the point they were calling my manager, John is all about the money, the guy who's all about the money. So even the awards night, they didn't advertise me. What they did was they played my advertisement. But let's leave the awards away. But that is how I started with PR. And the less money I have paid for PR in Ghana has been 200. If not, it has been 500,000. And for some time, after 2 or 3 years, Mr. George, you are not even getting royalty, which is the most important for every artist. And here was the case, Rock My Body too. I was just starting. And it was giving me a different look. So I just said, no, this is not the style I really wanted because I'm just a young artist. So let me just do what I really want to do so that people know. If I lay a weak foundation, I will not be happy. That was when I started doing Rock My Body. And I remember when you invited me for VGMA, the year Miss V and Stoneboy, you said I should come, then we can do a medley for the opening. And John said, oh, Wiala would like to do her own because her style is different. And you said, okay, no problem. But you did let us know you have a lot of you. And I said, yes, I respect VGMA. Then the next year, when I did Tinambayi, then you gave me the slot again. When I came, you guys personally went and brought the cultural dance troupe to come and dance with me. And that was when I really made everybody know this is Wiala. Okay, this is how I want to be presented. So if I had counted myself out, will I even still be going back to perform? No. I do shows in Ghana here. And this is not part of the system, part of it is why I made the video. I am definitely part of the system, and I won't allow this to go on to keep people away from me. Like the lady who came to interview me, she had to insist. It took her to go to a TV station to get my contact details. Because, yes,
interesting.
That's the line that got me upset, and I said, if you are going to give me shout out, but you give the shout out in a way that says, yeah, shout out, but not really shout out. Like you are not even part of us. And Mr. Arnold mentioned, he used the word, our. I am not involved in their our. And the other guy, sorry, I forgot his name, he said, I am not even part of the system. But I want to ask Mr. Arnold, where did I sit to tell you that Weala and her manager said, we have left the system for you guys? If I had left the system, I wouldn't be building an art center in Fonsi, unless you are trying to tell me that Fonsi, for that matter, where I am is not Ghana, or I'm not part of, or I'm not a Ghanaian. Because when he said that comment, you should see the reaction from home. Oh, so we are not, no problem. So you see, sometimes it's the way the things will come out. That will also make us, So that's what I'm saying, because people listen to Mr. Arnold, people listen to everybody. And they have become, whether we like it or not, mouthpiece when it comes to certain issues. When
fortunately, not to interrupt you, but fortunately we have another Smarbedo with us right here in the studio.
I know.
And since his name has been mentioned, I think it is fair that we give him an opportunity to also respond and try to explain where he was coming from. So if you can just stay on the line 1 minute so we can hear Arnold, okay? Arnold, Weala is on the line.
I mean, essentially, if you listen to Weala, with all due respect to her, I think she's been very unfair to me. Because when we're speaking about her not being out there in Ghana, we're speaking about the bars, the relevance and the prominence within this space. And listen to her now. Just oppose it with what she said in the video. Why won't we concentrate outside? That's exactly what I said. I only made a statement of fact that there's a fixation on the international market, and she just admitted it. I did not assign reasons why the fixation is outside. I was only stating a fact that with regards to what we are seeing now, she and her handlers, their concentration is outside. And she just said it. She's assigned reasons why their concentration is outside. One, royalties. Two, the fact that the media is not supporting her enough.
I never said the media is not supporting me enough, Mr. Arnold. I never
No, foresight, okay, probably I'm misquoting you.
I never said that.
Okay, so royalties. And what, so the Ignis part, where does it fall in?
Ignis, but she was only making, she was letting us understand the genesis and how she has invested in the industry by, paying for publicity, paying for visibility, and making the fact that she did everything she could to get noticed.
But then there were roadblocks.
Yes.
Exactly. So she is assigning probably the reasons why they had to fixate their attention outside. That is exactly what I said.
But also on that outside bit, she's making it clear that she did not really fixate outside. That's how come she's building an art center in Fonsi.
Exactly.
In events, when I'm invited, I perform in Ghana. I perform at corporate gigs. I perform right here in Ghana. But for royalties, I need to look elsewhere. But I'm very much part of this industry.
Well, let Arnold finish, then you can react to it, okay? Yeah, good.
Next, in regards to the stuff that she's doing in Ghana, the good stuff she's doing in the north and all that stuff, it connects to exactly what I said. That regardless of all the stuff that she's doing, the bars is low. Again, I only made a statement of fact. I did not assign blame to anybody or as to why Weala's achievement or whatever she's doing in Ghana is low. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so I'm only stating the reality. That your bars in Ghana is low, your bars on the international market is high, and that's a fact. So we can now shift the conversation and discuss why her bars in Ghana is low.
Anna, let me find something out. As an artist, do you feel personally? Do you feel you do more outside? As an artist, let's leave out your humanitarian bit. As an artist, a performer, a musician, do you think you do more outside than you do in Ghana?
I do more outside when it comes to performance. Yes, outside in Ghana.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, I do more outside.
Yes, so Weala, that's what we are saying, because your number one calling is artistry. And so if I say that you are doing more outside, I'm relating to your artistry.
But that shouldn't be the anthem where you are. You keep saying, "I am not even part."
That I said you are not even part. I never uttered those words.
Of the industry, and I want to say, are you going to say the Pele brothers, Asamoah John, is not even part of the Ghana football team? Because most of them, they're all playing abroad. Kevin Prince Boateng, but when it's time to represent Ghana on the African Cup of Nations, don't they bring them back home?
Exactly.
But well, even if they bring them back home, somebody can easily say they don't play in the local league.
Good. So they don't know them locally in Ghana.
Oh, they know them for sure.
Yeah.
That's why I said your international appeal is on the high level. Nobody competes with you when it comes to your international appeal. That's a plus. I mean, one day is being talked about because of what? An international feature.
Thank you.
So I seriously, it beats my comprehension as to why you would really subject me to this backlash and let the whole Ghana beat me up like that. I mean, the same language sense.
Well, hold on. I know the land right now, then you can come in. I know that we landed.
You make it.
I know this feeling sad. Well, please go ahead.
Because we are the way from the Pandis days. Yeah. Every industry person would attest to the love I have for Wiala.
Yeah.
Let me show you something.
Producer, get him tissue.
Well, okay.
Well, I know this crying. And well, I remember something, Arnold. There's a conversation here between. Where are you there? Yeah. Where are you there? Okay, December 20th, 2018. There's a conversation between your manager John and Arnold. And if you just indulge me, I'll read a bit of it. This is John writing. Arnold, I'd like to thank you for coming to and reviewing Wiala's concert recently. I was especially pleased that your work was an original piece and not a cut and paste. If you will let me have your full name as per ID, Wiala and I would like to send you a small token of our appreciation via Western Union. And this was Arnold's response. Oh, I was just doing my job, sir. It was not really necessary for you guys to send anything. It is not really necessary for you guys to send anything. I love Wiala and her works. We'll be here to support her anytime, sir. And then John responds, Wiala sends her love, and we both send our good wishes to you and your family for Christmas and the New Year. Thanks again. And Arnold says, Merry Christmas to you both. God bless you. And that was in December, specifically December 20th, 2018. Do you remember this?
Yes, I remember this.
Yes, it was around 7:55 in the morning. Do you feel Arnold is somebody who doesn't like you or who wouldn't do whatever he can to push your brand?
I don't know how much Arnold loves me and what I do. That one I can't tell. Maybe too much and all that. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Yes.
What I said, and I keep saying, is that those comments have been there for so many years, and it has cost me my gig. So, and I said, please, when you are talking about me, that line, I'm not even part of the industry, has gotten too much that I've lost. 25,000 cedi is not small money, and me leaving other gigs that I do. Even if I'm collecting 5,000 at every show, that will be more money too. So that's just the line I said, because that's why John said that if he is supporting me, but yet he joins in with that line, I'm not even part of the industry, then we don't understand.
Well, let's move forward. I can tell you for sure that if there's anybody who has been supporting your craft, it's Arnold. And I'm not saying so because he's here. I'm saying so because I've been with him on a number of panels and we have a number of backstage discussions. Arnold, Sadiq, Rasta, Uncle Ken, everybody in the studio right now, and a lot of pundits out there, even including JMJ. I know they all love you very much. Right now, your fans want to eat up Arnold Asamoah-Beidou. The man is sitting here with a handkerchief in his hand. He's almost in here.
Big handkerchief.
He's almost in here. Yeah, it's actually a towel. The man wants to cry. What would you like to tell him? For us, I know you are a woman with a good heart. Can we make peace and close this? What would you like to say to Arnold?
Mr. George, you I can see you. I can see he's not crying. Look.
Oh, you're laughing at me. The man is crying.
I'm watching you. I'm watching you live.
Oh, the man is crying. Look at his face. Can you see his face? Let's make peace so we can go forward. Ghana loves you. Everybody loves you. And look, I think it is very important that we all put it out there that it is not just about you. If creatives and those of us in the media space can all do what we can to push you and your likes and everybody else a bit more, it would inure to our benefit as a team. However, you should also not come at us in a way that would make your fans want to eat us up or kill us. You understand? I like something you have done this evening, which was to apologize to the industry and to your fellow colleague musicians. I dared say that on my Facebook wall a couple of days ago. Your fans nearly killed me. You know, so I think to make peace, since your outburst was what got us here, what would you like to say to Arnold, to myself, to everybody, to your fellow industry colleagues, so that we can make peace and move forward?
Mr. George.
Well, when you call me Mr., I feel like I'm 95 years old. Just call me George.
No, that's how we do it in here. Like here, somebody that have, even if the person is born 1 minute before you, they are your senior.
Okay, let's hear you, Wela. Talk to us.
Well, I didn't start this whole wahala. I didn't start all this wahala. I made that video because I dare say I need to protect my brand and also protect myself so that I can also do my things. And like I said, if I have offended any musician, and I didn't mention any musician's name, and I feel like I'm talking to them, I'm sorry. But that video I made, I know it cannot be unmade. It's there. Let there be peace, love and unity between us.
Let there be peace, love, and unity. All right, I will say thank you. Let me come to my panel. Uncle Kennedy is here. Sadiq Abdullah Abu is here. Let us hear you. Let's start from Rasta, very quickly, briefly. 30 seconds.
Sadiq quite clearly is holding on to Wiala. She's holding on to the issue
that have happened in the past.
You know, no. Even with you gave her an opportunity to even roping Arnold with regards to the apology and whatnot. She didn't do it.
But
she's put out something.
All the insults came. If they apologize, then I also apologize. I'll accept it.
Wiala, I think that,
hold on.
If you are waiting for an apology from Arnold, I don't think it's going to happen. I didn't give birth to him, but I won't suggest that he does that because he hasn't done anything untoward to your brand, and he has so much respect and love for you. Hold on. Please, listen. Don't do this. This is Joy FM. There's an opportunity for you to do the right thing. We've heard you speak, and the reasons are clear. If we had time, maybe you wouldn't even like how this thing is going to end. So please, let's do the honorable thing here and move on.
Anyway, sorry, very quickly.
For me, I think that what we are, and I told the manager last weekend, I think that what they are trying to deal with is that they are trying to deal with a perception that they think has become so pervasive that it's affecting them. And not necessarily, and Arnold here in this case has become like the launch pad, not necessarily because he said anything bad. Often, and I told the manager, when people say Riala is international, they say it as a form of respect to what she's been able to achieve internationally, which has become a yardstick for a lot of young musicians here, as in how to make it internationally. I told the manager. So yes, Riala, people respect your talent, people respect your hustle and what you've been able to do internationally, which is not an easy feat. And often when people say that, Wiala is more international, it's also a form of recognizing what you've been able to do internationally. And so, in reference with what Arnold said, I get it that you're trying to deal with that particular perception, but really,
hold on. What are you saying?
I said I will apologize to Arnold.
Oh, that's good.
But not to those that insulted me. I am not granting them any apology.
That is good. That makes sense. Arnold did not insult you.
I apologize.
Arnold Wiala has apologized. She says she's sorry.
I apologize.
Bless you. God bless you.
Insulted me. No.
Thank you very much, Wiala. I think we have a Uncle Ken.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's all I was going to ask Wiala to do. Apologize to Arnold because Arnold has not and will not say anything derogatory against Wiala. Thank you, Wiala. God bless you. Keep soaring,
Yes. And thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You need to come down so we can have a proper interview. You know, Wiala, you have a very, very unique story to tell Ghanaians, a story of hope and inspiration.
The interview can be done in Rushes.
Wiala, when can we do that interview?
In 2 weeks' time, I guess, because by then I'll be in Accra.
That would be great. So we've booked you. We have a date so that we can tell the Wiela story to inspire a lot of other young women who need that one. Arnold, Wiela has apologized. What do you also have to say? So we can wrap it up?
I accept the apology because genuinely I know I did not do her any wrong.
Yeah.
And so we'll continue to push her stuff. I mean, ensure that her buzz in Ghana is on that all-time high.
Well, Arnold, thank you all very much. Sadiq, Uncle Ken, Kwame Rasta, thank you all very much. Well, it's been great. Regards to John, right? Say hi for me. All right. And that is the Lioness of Africa and one of the world's finest talents. And we're going to continue pushing her as much as we can. Forgive me, I couldn't do your messages today. All those that have been tweeting messages on WhatsApp and Facebook, I've seen them all, but unfortunately we are totally out of time. Next time you hear this voice, and don't forget, you heard it right here first. Wiela apologizes to her colleagues, to the industry as well as to Arnold Asamoah Baidu. And we also apologize to her on behalf of all the industry folk that have downplayed her craft and not pushed her hard enough. And those of you who collected her money and didn't play her song,